feeling about that?
Not great.
Why?
That gave me like major deja vu to working in an office with you.
What about it still smells like soap? I don't like that. I washed it out really good.
But yeah, you would just start doing something random like that until I lost my mind.
But it was never with the intent of like annoying Hudson.
Wasn't it?
No, I just like, man, I just do stuff. Grace suffers from it too, where I just start singing a song. Like, I've never listened to Nickelback, but for some reason the other day was just like, I'm going to sing the Nickelback song.
That was so
I can't remember
fun
which
for
one
her.
it was, and it really, really grinded her gears, man. And like, it's just like that in general. I feel like I'm a pretty, especially like morning time, I'm pretty high energy. And if you're not a morning person like Grace is sometimes, my energy level's too high for hers. And I come in and I can be a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I am not a morning person.
Yeah.
I am the antithesis of a morning person.
Yeah.
I need things to be quiet and calm in the morning.
And why do we shoot podcasts in morning time?
I don't know. Because I thought you wanted to.
My schedule's pretty open right now.
Let's do a night. Let's try one. Try a nighttime podcast and get some drinks.
Okay.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. We should. Okay. So we're thinking about for this episode splitting up the miscellaneous talk that we do in the beginning from the game talk, because they have nothing to do with one another. But I also I like it that way. Like, I like just being able to talk about whatever and then loop back around to games. But we're probably going to split this episode up into 2 different parts, which would be the podcast and then the games discussion.
Yeah, and we can just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because we may not.
We
may cut this whole section.
You may never see that. All right, so 670,000 something views later, the sandwich debate has a pretty firm answer, and it's not which half you should eat first. It's that Hudson is wrong because you said it don't matter, and I would say what would you say, 1 to 2% are in your camp?
That's an optimistic amount of people.
Yeah.
I saw very few comments that were on my side, and most of the comments that were on my side were talking about my Path of Exile t-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, I never would have guessed that was such an unpopular opinion. Or not unpopular, just
given
people think about that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I don't think most people are actively thinking about that every time they pick up a sandwich, but bringing that to the front of your mind, you realize that you do have a preference, and it is for this reason. And I was surprised at all the weird answers we got. Some people were like, it doesn't matter if it's big or small, I eat the one on the left.
Yeah, that is the craziest answer to that. And those people are 100% wrong.
I mean, to each their own.
No. That's the wrong opinion about sandwiches.
Yeah.
You're like, which size do I eat first? I understand.
Mm-hmm.
There is no universe in which I understand why someone would eat a directionally oriented sandwich first.
Someone was like, I have to eat my foods left to right. So, and I asked him, what about in countries where you're reading right to left? Because I'm assuming that was the reason behind that answer, right?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
I think it's fun. I like it. Then I actually have I had screenshotted a few really funny ones. Let me go back on my phone real quick and pull them up. Screenshot. Imagine a man wearing a $150 Path of Exile shirt giving the rational take here. Crazy time we are living in. There's another comment about you that says, I saw the shirt and already knew the guy wasn't going to care. PoE players would be more concerned with speed running the meal, if anything. Pretty funny.
Fucking assholes, dude. The internet's so mean.
My favorite comment is about me, and it says, just a touch of the tism. And then a really good one says neurodivergent to neurotypical. But I don't think you're neurotypical per
Definitely
se.
not.
So that doesn't quite. But I definitely think that we don't really acknowledge this, but there's some neurodivergency happening here. If it wasn't fucking apparent, this is a good question that someone asked me to ask you. Do you have an inner monologue?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. Do people not?
oh, you didn't know that? Like people will say that like they don't hear a voice in their head when they're thinking about things.
Really?
Yeah. There's also people that don't when you think about like if you were to can I picture an apple? People can't picture an apple.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait. What? What is that called?
I don't know, but the
That's blowing my mind.
yeah.
That's really crazy to me.
Yeah.
That people's brains seemingly don't work in the way that I thought was normal.
Totally differently. Yeah. You the last comment here
all
though
right.
is the person who said it doesn't matter probably has mismatched socks on. And do you? Do you have mismatched socks on?
Well, maybe not today. But I do not give a fuck which socks
That's
I put
a
on my feet.
very, very astute observation on that guy's part or that person's part.
Yeah, that feels creepy. That feels weird.
They're probably like they're into psychology. It's like I know this kind of person.
That comment made me uncomfortable.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
I feel really uncomfortable that somebody just called out an unrelated behavior of mine
Mm-hmm.
just based on my answer to a sandwich question.
I think the sandwich question is the basis for a lot of answers in life of what kind of person you are.
We need to talk to a psychologist.
I don't know any.
Yeah.
Except we both go the same one.
Yeah, maybe he would come on the podcast.
Yeah.
He would be like, "No, that's weird."
Dude, that would be so cool.
That would
I
be
think
cool.
I'd probably be like breaking some rules though, right? He can't acknowledge that you go to him or I go to him to either one of us.
Yeah, but if we both know that we go to him,
I still think he can't. Like, I think it's like just breaking the confidentiality. Like if I went to him and I was like, I know Hudson goes here, and he's like, I don't know that person, sorry, or I can't talk about that because he can't.
No, I understand he can't. But if everybody involved already knows,
Yeah.
does it still matter? I don't know.
I don't know. I like him though. He's a great guy.
No, he's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Man. So really interesting. I did not expect like that so many people would have such a varied amount of takes. There are literally 4,000 comments on that video,
It's crazy.
and they're all like a little bit different. And people are fighting in the comments, calling people really mean names.
Yeah, as that clip grew, I just felt worse and worse about myself because it made me feel kind of insane that my opinion was so not typical.
Well, I think it's. I want you to feel okay, and I don't judge you.
No, I know
I
you
disagree with you. It's okay to. I'm happy that you have a different opinion. We disagree. That's fine. I don't think you're weird for not thinking. I don't think you might be in the minority. I don't think that makes you weird though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the only people that are wrong about this is the people that eat from one direction to another.
Yeah.
And then that's objectively the
One
incorrect
person
decision.
explained it, and they were like, "I eat from right to left because I'm right-handed." But I also like. I don't think
Doesn't
I'm
make any
grabbing my
sense.
sandwich with my right hand. I think I'm a left-handed sandwich eater.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to pay attention when I eat sandwiches.
Yeah, or any food.
Any food, yeah.
Where there's cut in two separate pieces. Someone complained, was like, they're not halves if they're different. Like, fuck you. Go away.
What a fucking weird hill to die on.
Fucking dweeb.
Goddamn dork.
Oh man. So that was a fun topic.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it made me think of another one.
Okay.
This is not related. It's just personal behavior related.
Yeah.
This is probably a male, a men oriented topic.
That's great. That's the only people who watch our podcast.
That's true.
Except for Leslie. And
when-
your mom.
When you're home alone or just with Leslie and you're going pee do you go through the trouble of unzipping and opening and then going through the hole in your boxer, or you just pull them down like you're in kindergarten and just
Oh, straight down.
okay,
Yeah,
thank fucking God.
straight down.
All right. Well, I'm not weird. Yeah.
I think people will probably say we're weird.
No, I like I'll pull them down before I even get to the bathroom. I'll be like, "Hey, Grace," and I pull them down, and then I walk to the bathroom. Which I think is great. I also like don't wear clothes
What?
during like I'll wear boxers most of the days, or just a pair of gym shorts, no shirt or anything when I'm home
Oh
alone.
man, I have such what's the word I'm looking for? I'm so self conscious about my body shape that even around Leslie, who I know doesn't care, I won't go shirtless.
That makes me pretty sad.
Oh yeah, yeah. It sucks. That's how like
Man,
self conscious I am
I'm sorry.
about how fat I am. It sucks.
If it makes you feel any better, this happened yesterday. I walking around without a shirt on, as I do, and I walk up to Grace and I go pat my belly.
Yeah, but you've got like the the bear vibe going, you know?
No, I have
No, you absolutely
fat guy
do.
vibe, and I go pat my belly, and she goes okay, and she pats my belly. She goes, "It's big, it's big." I go, "Yeah." it is."
Yeah, but you're like proportionally big.
Uh,
No. Here's the thing. No,
I'll
no.
let you talk.
Let me-
I might disagree, but I'll let you talk.
You are proportionally big plus the beard.
Mhm.
It ties it all together. Like you look good as a big dude.
Yeah, well, I
I
appreciate that.
I
I don't think you're a big dude, by the way. I feel like you're exempt from the discussion on big dudes.
I am a big dude.
You're not.
I am medically obese.
Have you seen us in camera? You look like a small, normal guy. You may not be skinny, but you're a smaller guy.
Well, I'm not. No, listen. I have regular guy arms.
Uh-huh.
Regular guy arms. Let me see if I can get this on camera. I have regular guy legs,
Uh-huh.
and then I have fat guy upper body. And that is the weirdest thing when I have no clothes on to look at.
So you're saying I have fat everything?
No, you're proportionally large. Like your body stores fat evenly across your body.
I'm not fat.
It's
I understand what you're saying, but also, what about like if me and you? I was like, hey, let's go fucking swimming. You wouldn't go.
I might. I'm so self-conscious
So
about
am
my
I.
fat.
But like, it's fun to swim.
Yeah.
When was the last time you swam?
The the time that everybody peed in the pool I was swimming in.
Oh, that's right. That's cool. So that sort of scarred you two ways.
Actually, that's not true. I did swim with my parents once recently. But
I feel like
it's-
that's good exposure therapy. Going to a public swimming place, taking your shirt off, and just having to fucking, people don't care. That's the thing.
I don't want exposure therapy for that.
Yeah, people don't care. I know you care. I know I feel the same way when I'm like we went to the pool the other day. This was the first time I've swam this year, and I was like, the ladder was really far away from where we sat, and I was like, how am I going to take my shirt off and get into the water fast enough without anyone seeing?
Oh, I think about that all the time.
And then I was like, I'm gonna bring my towel with me and take it off. And I ended up just like taking it off and running in the pool, jumping in.
One time I was around people. It's at its worst. My self consciousness when I'm around people who I used to not be so fat on.
100%.
And one time I jumped in the pool with my shirt on, and I was like, "Oh, haha! I forgot to take my shirt off." Like I was being a dumbass, but it was just because I wanted to be in the pool before people saw how fat I was.
I'm sorry, that makes me it was pretty sad.
It's really a bummer.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Listen, so before 2.5 years ago, I was in amazing shape,
Mhm.
like really good shape. And then I started getting more out of shape, and I went back to my gym, and I'd gained like 20 or 30 pounds. And the gym owner, who was also my trainer, was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I know that he's just trying to be like motivating and like be the friend that says you need to fix yourself. But like for me, it was like, holy fuck, this is like, I was super embarrassed.
Yeah,
And then
that sort of motivation doesn't work.
I went back and he did it again. And then I never went back to the gym.
Yeah,
And then so for 2 years, I didn't really comprehend why I wasn't going back. I was like, I just don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then one day Grace is like, "You loved the gym. Go to the gym." And like I started crying because I was like, "I don't want to. I don't." And I finally realized why. It was like I don't want people that saw me in shape to see how bad I've gotten, and that fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so I went to a different gym.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that pisses me off that people would do that because that negative reinforcement, th- maybe for a very small percentage of the population, it works for them, but that is such a stupid way to try to motivate people
Yeah,
because by and large, all that does is discourage people and makes them give up. And that's
totally,
so fucking. It pisses me off.
totally.
I'm so pissed off for you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've done this, but I've done this to you where in the past 2 years, as I got fat, I would stop hanging out with people and like I would turn down events because I did not want people to see that I got fat. And the ones where I
Man,
felt like I really had to go, I would text them ahead of time, and be like, "Hey, man, just so you know, I got fat."
man,
Yeah,
man.
I did it to like Adam. I think I did it to you at one point. I mean, I'm certain I did
I
it to
think
you.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
But it's like I have to preface it because I'm so embarrassed going into this that I don't want the reaction of like I don't want them to like look at me and be like, "Geez," you know, because I know I got fatter, I got fat,
Yeah.
um, but I just like I can't handle the judgment. Um,
That sucks. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. So, someone left a really funny comment about me, and so um, it. So a lot of people said I sound like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Mhm.
which I don't see, but whatever. Someone left a comment that said Meal deGrasse Tyson. I fucking lost it, dude. It's so funny.
It's so mean.
It's so
It's so
mean.
good.
It's so funny, man. It's like that doesn't bother me. That's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
witty. Um, being self-conscious about being fat is totally normal, but it sucks. But you should still do the stuff in your life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, same to you. That makes me sad for you too.
I am.
It's a bummer.
I'm hanging out with people again. I've seen everyone again since I got fat, so I no longer have that barrier of like
Right.
no one didn't. You know, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it really sucks.
Yeah. Well,
All
that's a
right.
fun topic.
I have a question for you.
Tell me.
This is a messaging etiquette question. And I think I already know your answer.
Is it because I'm a message you? Fucking goddamn it!
I'm gonna let you figure this out.
Is it because I message you weird?
No. When you message people, do you send multiple messages? This is like in all of one thought. Do you just send multiple messages, or do you write your entire thought out and send it like a paragraph?
Depends. If so, I think it is an ADHD trait to send your messages like a stream of consciousness. So you're like, "Hey man, I was thinking, what about Friday? New message. We should get together, go to the restaurant, and then new message. Maybe get some chicken sandwiches. New message. What do you think?" Because that's just like you're
Mm-hmm.
typing the way your brain thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And I consciously have to not do that um, when I'm not in conversation. So if I'm reaching out to someone to ask them a question, ask them if they want to hang out, I will complete the thought. But if me and you are going back and forth, like on Discord, I'll send you 40 messages to say
Totally.
one word or to
Yeah.
say one sentence.
Yeah. When I'm in conversation with people, I don't mind that.
Hmm.
It's the I'm not talking to this person, and then I just get ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? It drives me absolutely insane.
It's bad.
Up a fucking wall.
It's bad. Yeah, I did it the other day to Grace, and I only realized when I was on like the fifth message that I shouldn't have done that. I was like, that's gotta be so fucking annoying. Yeah, I mean, if you are initiating a conversation or asking a question, one message is great.
Yeah.
I don't mind if we're going back and forth, type as many as you
Oh
want.
yeah, totally.
But like, yeah, I'm with you. It feels like the world is on. I think it's particularly because you're like your work. Sometimes people will text you if something's going wrong, and when you get a lot of messages at once, you're kind of thinking something is wrong. It's setting off your like panic response.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I hate
Okay.
it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we agree.
Yeah, that's good.
Do I have any other questions for you? Let me see. I have a story to tell you.
Tell me a story.
It's not very long or all that interesting. It's about a stupid, bitchy, annoying neighbor. 'Cause we've lived in our new place for a few months now, and the place is weird and has an HOA, and there's a bunch of like Karens that live
You
there.
have an HOA for a rental?
Well,
You're renting from a person who.
yes.
Okay.
We have to comply by the HOA rules, which sucks. Um, so this person, number one, they're one of those. They're just a busybody. They're always, I think, blind peeking, trying to see what's going on. Um, we got an HOA violation because around the side of our condo there was a bucket. It had been there since we moved in. We didn't know whose it was. I didn't even see it. It was there before we moved in. And then we got a fucking HOA violation. And with a picture from her house, so I know it was her. And it was something like you can't leave debris outside of your house. Okay, so we already don't like this person. So I had a friend come over, and he brought his dog, and his dog's a nervous pooper. And so when he's in new, unfamiliar situations, he just has to poop. So he just like jumped out of the car and pooped in front of our house. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go get a bag. So I was like trying to find a plastic bag, and the dog, he finished pooping, and immediately her door opened up. She lives right next to us. And she goes, "Hey, bud, you're going to pick that up, right?"
Dude, what a psychopath.
Was she
You need to start ruining her life.
was she just watching at her front door for this?
Hmm.
Who has that kind of time?
She's retired, right? She's old.
Yeah, she's older.
Yeah.
And she immediately and he said, "Oh yeah, he's getting a bag." And she says, "Okay," and shut the door. She wasn't on her way out, or she was watching at her
watching.
door.
Yeah.
What fucking people, dude?
The neighbor that called, I had my tree debris from the storm. 2 days following the storm, we had pulled it out of the tree, and then 2 days later, I got that a city code violation because I'm not in an HOA. It was him that called it in for sure. It's crazy. These people have no time.
Yeah.
But you should find ways to ruin her life.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Or like skirt the rules of an HOA. Just like make your life real miserable.
I did
Start a war.
I did feel a little vindicated because this friend who came to visit has he's one of those people with really insanely loud car.
Fuck yeah.
And he left at 2 a.m. and he just hit his engine. I mean, it's so loud.
Good.
Like I can hear him coming from blocks away. That's how loud it is.
It's very annoying.
It's super annoying, but I'm sure it woke her up, and I felt good about that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Man, yeah, shitty neighbors suck. I have really good neighbors, but the one sort of across the street who wants us to be part of the HOA is a fucking dick. And I'm going to find ways to fuck with him.
Yeah,
They
don't be
deserve
part
it.
of an HOA. It's a
Why would I?
fucking nightmare.
Why would I? It's a waste of my money, waste of my time.
Yeah,
I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
exactly.
But that's the benefits of owning a home. It's fun. Do you had problems with neighbors before where you lived in an apartment and there was just a dog that would bark early in the morning next to
Oh,
you, or
yeah,
because you lived next to the dog place, and then you ended up moving up to a different apartment within that complex, right?
This whole thing was it was a total nightmare. This was, no lie, this was the closest I think I've ever been to actually killing myself.
Oh my god!
Because it was legitimately ruining my life. Because I'm not a morning person. I stay up late. I can't help it. Like I can't go to sleep before like 2 a.m.
Mhm.
And this guy had a beagle that would howl, and he would come out at 7 or 8 a.m. every single morning. And we lived right next to the dog park, and this beagle would howl nonstop. I wish I could remember. At one point, I had a decibel reader that I borrowed from work just to see how loud it was, and it was from my patio, which was maybe 50 to 100 feet away from this dog park. It was this dog was so loud, it was above the threshold that they typically recommend that you keep noises to protect your own hearing.
Dude,
It was
nightmare.
so loud. And I talked to this guy multiple times, and I said, "Hey, man, I don't want to. I'm not, the first time I was like, I'm not trying to dictate anything. We just moved in over here. I just was wanting to know because your dog's pretty loud. If maybe just on the weekends, because I tend to stay up later on the weekends and try to sleep in later. If you wouldn't mind waiting until like 10 a.m. to bring your dog down, which I felt was very reasonable because that would still result in me losing sleep pretty regularly."
Yeah, yeah.
And this guy goes, "I don't know what you want me to do about it." And I said, "That just what I just said. That's what I wanted you to do about it." And
Yeah,
he
be
just
considerate.
kept acting like I was this is the most unreasonable suggestion he's ever heard of in his life. And man, that started a war with that neighbor.
Damn.
Um, oh man, it was a fucking nightmare. And so finally, after about like 2 years of living there, we moved to another apartment in that complex. And as we were moving in, we realized that other unit was infested with roaches. I mean, one of the worst roach infestations I think I have ever personally experienced.
No.
We started opening up the cabinets, and there was all these roach traps. Every roach trap was filled with dead roaches. I mean, every roach trap, which is something like this big, had easily 50 dead roaches on it.
Fuck.
And those were put out like a week or two before we moved in. I pulled out the fridge, 20 roaches at least scattered.
Like German or big?
German cockroaches.
The small,
The
little
really
the
bad
really bad
ones.
ones you can't get rid of. Great.
And so we stacked all of our stuff in the middle of that apartment and then moved again.
To where?
That
different unit?
the other this another apartment we found that had an opening.
In the same complex?
No, in a totally different complex.
Good.
In 2 days.
What a fucking pain. What a nightmare scenario, dude.
It was awful. It was
sorry.
really awful.
Jesus. But they let you get out of that apartment lease?
Oh yeah.
They were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I went ape shit on in the leasing office because I told the lady, I was like, I will march you down right now and you tell me if this is a place you could live in. And she was like, the pest control said it was better.
Dude.
It's like, it's not better. There's thousands of roaches in that apartment.
I am a non-confrontational person where I will do everything I can not to bother someone, argue with someone, whatever. But when it comes to stuff like that, is the only time I've ever been like really aggressive.
Yeah.
Like we built a house. It was our first house. Waited 6 months, and like the week before we were supposed to move in, we did a private inspection, and he gives us back a 40-page document.
Oh my god.
Of everything that's wrong, and it had pictures of everything. And so I looked at it, and I called Grace. I was like, "We might have a problem. We gotta go to the house and see." And then we went through and saw, and it was everything from like you could see you see the lines on my ceiling are flat and even. They were wobbly.
Oh my god.
The walls were like this. There was a pillar in the center of the room that was like a support, but it just happened to be in the center of the room. Horrible design. It was twisted from like at the bottom it was like this, and at the top it was like this, and it was a rectangular pillar. Our kitchen island was like sloped like that. It was fucked. There was in the garage. There was it's just like concrete on the ground, but there was a hole where there was just a open hole that went down into something. And I was like, "What is this?" They're like, "Oh, they put the plumbing in the wrong place at first, so they just cut it off." I was like, "And I just have a plumbing pipe open in my garage? I'm like, oh, we'll seal it. So like, dude,
How did you get out of that?
I the property manager, the salesman, and like the regional manager all called a meeting with us. And I sat down, I walked them through the house, I told them everything that was wrong. Um, and I said, would you live here? Would you buy your first house and move into it in this condition? We're not rich. This is a lot for us. We're doing everything we can in order to buy this house. And if you can honestly say yes, then me and you are different people. But he said no, and I said, you need to give me my money back. And he said, you need to give me time to make it right. And I said, absolutely not. You've had 6 months to build this house.
Yeah, because if the things you can see are that fucked up, like what are the bones like of that house?
Yeah, he kept asking me. He was trying to guilt me. He was saying, if you back out of this, someone's going to get in trouble. And I said, good. They should.
It's not your fucking
Yeah. I
problem.
said, good. They should. And he gave me all of my money back.
Wow.
It was like $5,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, not good.
Man.
Not fucking good. But it was a nightmare experience, but it was one of those, like, it was better off in the end. So like we ended up not moving out of our apartment for another like year to year and a half. It took us a long time to find a house that we wanted to, but for a while we were like, we're not gonna buy a house. This is too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And we finally found a house we wanted. We love our house now.
This house is great.
The layout is unique. It's a great place to live. Like the neighborhood's really great. We like the part of town we live in. And then the part of town we were gonna move to is a nightmare now.
Is it?
Yeah, dude.
What part of town was that?
It was Manor.
Oh.
And if you've ever had to go to Manor, there's one main road with 2 lanes each way. And it's like, it's the most dense traffic ever, every single day of the week.
Because everybody's moving to Manor.
Everyone's moving to Manor because they think it's like the best spot to be. It's not. It's garbage.
Man.
Yeah. So that's fun homeowner shit.
It's such a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Wish I could just move to the middle of nowhere, not be near anyone.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
That's what we want to do, but then the problem is there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
No Chick-fil-A.
No Chick-fil-A. Yeah. I was like considering moving to another country, and I was like, do they have Chick-fil-A here? He's like, no. I said, all right. I'll cross this one off the list.
Are we going to talk about Buick 8 next week?
Yes.
Okay.
I started reading it. I have not finished it.
Okay.
I'm only a couple hours in, but I will finish it by next week.
Cool.
I like Stephen King's writing style.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I had one other question for you.
Yeah.
When you are sleeping and you get into bed, do you raise your legs to get the blanket tucked under your feet?
Oh, like to have it back under?
Yeah.
No.
So like this is your legs and this is the blanket. And then you raise them so the sheet falls like that and then you tuck it.
Mm-mm.
You don't do that? Have you ever done that?
I do it in specific situations when I'm in a hotel room or a strange place where I think there might be ghosts or ghouls. I want my feet locked in, baby.
Okay.
But
What in that scenario where there are some ghosts or some ghouls, what does that do for you?
Well, you don't want your feet getting grabbed.
They can't grab through sheets? They can only get your
These
feet.
are little kid rules, dude.
Okay.
Got to tuck those bad boys in.
Okay.
But at home, no. I'm like, I have to like cool down before I want to sleep under the. So when I first go to bed, I'm not cold enough to want a blanket.
You run really hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I have to like be there for like an hour or two before I put the blanket on me.
Gotcha.
So I'm like I sleep on my sides, and I kind of have to bake on both sides before I fall asleep. So like I'll like start on the right, then I'll go to the left, and then I'm about ready, and I go to the right, and then I'll fall asleep. and then around that time, I'll have like half the blanket on. Like it covers me from like this half, and my ass is out, and my feet are out sometimes. But yeah, I don't. I'm not like a full blanket coverage guy. And then in the middle of the night somewhere, then I'll have a blanket.
Interesting. I can't sleep without doing that.
Do you have Leslie tuck you in sometimes?
I think I've done that for so long. It's a psychological block now. If I don't have something wrapped around my feet, I can't go to sleep.
Do you sleep with socks on?
Not sometimes if I'm really cold.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy? That's not crazy if you're cold.
I don't think it's crazy for most people. I just can't fucking imagine it. But I also like. Do you sleep naked?
I just sleep with boxers on. But even some days when I'm really hot, I still have to have the blankets around my feet. It's weird.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have sleep things too, but like no, I cannot be hot when I sleep, and blanket around the feet is too hot.
Yeah.
I don't like sleeping with closet doors open. At all.
Why? It just
Ghouls.
Ghouls.
Yeah. I doesn't like sleeping with the window open for similar reasons. I had a dream when I was a kid, and it's like it's a nightmare because it was scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I woke up in my bed, and I look out at the foot of my bed as my window, and in peeking through the window is a little doll with like a little wand, and it goes, "Hello."
Oh my god.
And that nightmare has made me be like, I don't open the window at night.
That would fuck me up too. How old were you?
5 or 6.
Oh yeah, that's permanently.
It was
That's
horrifying.
permanent scarring.
Yeah, and it was one of those dreams where I thought it was real because I was waking up in my bed.
Right.
Yeah, terrifying.
Man, how does a 5-year-old brain even come up with that?
I don't know.
That's so crazy.
It was fucking scary. I think I'd probably seen Chucky or something, but it wasn't Chucky. It was just like a little girl's doll with a little star wand.
Do you leave a light on somewhere in the house when you're asleep?
I need pitch black.
Even like down here?
Pitch black.
Really?
Yeah. It's if there's light, even like on my surge protector where I plug in my stuff, I have to put tape over it because that little light on that will bother me.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And also any repetitive noise, like you hear the trickling of the fountain right there.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have that. That was in our room, and I was like, move it out. Can't have
Do you have to have silence?
There can be white noise like a fan going, but if there's repetitive noise, like that is not white noise to me. There's enough differences
enough
in it.
variation on the sound. Yeah, I see that.
Where it wakes me up. If like the fan is going and goes, it's like rocking a little bit, that will wake me up. So I have earplugs. Sometimes I'll put them in. I don't like sleeping with earplugs because I don't feel like I'm aware enough. But yeah.
So you wake up when the sun comes up?
It's most of the time, yes. But sometimes I sleep past it. You know, we don't have dense curtains or anything, but it's enough to make it so that like it's not quite waking me up. But like at night, it's like when I try to go to sleep and there's a light on, it's a problem. Like I can't even have my monitor on. Like I have to turn it off at night or set it to like a really dark screen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
I mean, I get needing darkness, but the fact that I wonder how much are you actually aware that there's a light source somewhere?
Oh, I try to sleep and it bothers me.
Yeah, but that can be, and this I'm not judging you, but that can be psychosomatic.
I mean, I'm telling you, like I close my eyes and go to bed at night, and I'm like, man, I can see through my eyelids that there's some light still. Like my eyelids aren't dark enough, and so like I need to get up and turn off my monitor. It's that bad. But sometimes there's exceptions where Christmas time, I leave my Christmas tree on all night. There's a little bit more light than normal pouring through the door.
Yeah.
But then I'll just try to like face the other way sometimes. But if I'm peeing at night, I kind of want to turn on a light because I can't always see where I'm going because you can't see the stream at night. But I solved that problem by getting a lighted toilet seat where it has a very dim.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it lights the bowl below it. Just very dim blue light. It's not enough to spill out into the bedroom or anything.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great.
No, yeah, I'm totally gonna get one of those because it frustrates me when I have to turn the light to pee, and then when I'm done, I turn the
Can't-
light
can't
off and I
see.
can't fucking see anything.
Yeah, it's great.
And there's like a decent amount of distance from our bedroom, bathroom, toilet to back to our bed.
You should get one. It's very
It's a
easy to
great
install
idea.
a toilet seat.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's like $40.
I'm sure you've had this happen to you because I think most guys have had this happen
Uh-huh.
to you. But isn't it the worst feeling when you pee and it's a split stream
Yeah, man.
and you're just like trying to control it and
'Cause then-
figure
'cause
out?
Then you're like, I gotta fucking clean this up.
Yeah, and it's the worst when it happens at night. When
Yeah.
all you want to do is go right back to sleep,
Yeah,
and now there's pee everywhere.
dude. So I have a thing that happens where Havel wakes up when I go pee. So like yesterday, he woke up and he's sitting beside me while I'm peeing, looking up at me. I go, "Hi, buddy," and I'm finishing up, and then I go back to bed, and I lay in bed. And when I wake up to pee, that's the time when he gets out of wherever he is and comes and jumps into bed and cuddles. So he jumps into bed and cuddles, and I pet him and I touch his tail, and it's a little bit wet, and I go, "Oh, gross! Oh no!" Because probably he stuck his tail where it shouldn't be, and I couldn't see because it's dark. Not good.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, yeah. That's a new problem. Now I have to like very consciously be like, "Don't come near me while I'm peeing."
Okay, before we get into the big game,
Mhm.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Darkest Dungeon 2.
Ooh,
Did you ever play Darkest Dungeon?
yeah, I fucking loved it. Could not. I didn't get like extremely deep into it, but I never got to the darkest dungeon, the farthest part. Like, I got pretty far.
I never did either. Leslie did.
Really cool.
Yeah, that kind of game is her absolute favorite kind of game.
Is it the town management stuff that she loves?
No, for her, she just really loves turn-based combat,
Yeah.
and I think she has more patience with games than I do, and probably you do. Like for her, when she plays a game, she wants to finish everything. She's more of a completionist in that way. Whereas when a game even a little bit starts to bore me, I drop it,
Mm,
which I hate because I wish I would push through so I could finish some games. But if things start to be a little repetitive, I'm like, I'm done.
Hmm.
So Darkest Dungeon 2 is really good.
is it? I'm
There-
really happy you say that because I bought it on Epic. I really did like the first one a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I bought it on Epic, and they removed all the town stuff, which I kind of liked having that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of like at the launch, the cart controls were awful. Like it just didn't feel good to control it. And then I don't know, like it just kind of like lost whatever made it special.
I think the game was in a pretty rough state in its early access launch because Leslie played it as soon as it came out in early access and she did not like it.
Okay.
And when it fully launched, we both played it and we both really enjoyed it.
Got it. Okay.
I think they made a lot of changes. And I really like that they took some risks and tried to reinvent the game. And it's a lot of very familiar stuff, obviously. A lot of the classes are the same. But the getting rid of the whole town management and the perpetual heroes that you constantly
Cycling
work
through.
on isn't really a thing.
So
Although there's still that in some elements.
what's happening now? Remind me what's happening now with your hero party. Like you have 4 people.
You still have 4 people. You pick them up at the inn on the beginning of your carriage ride, and you're trying to make it through all these different destroyed areas to the mountain to kill the final boss.
It's a roguelike.
It's a roguelike.
That's why. Okay. And
Um,
is there between runs are you making permanent upgrades?
Yes.
Okay.
You make permanent upgrades to classes. You also make permanent upgrades to your stagecoach, the resources you have, the number of armor points and wheel points you have, because you'll periodically, as you run through these roads, get ambushed and you need to have armor points to survive the ambush. And when you don't, it immediately starts a fight. Same with like rough terrain. You need to have stagecoach wheel points, or else you'll have to start a fight, and those fights are really hard. But no, it's been really good. I think I enjoy it actually more than the first one at this point,
Really?
because the combat is, first of all, it looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, the visuals were good.
I mean, and I just
Because it's a 3D game now, but it's still 2D perspective and art style, but like the models are 3D, right?
yeah, and it's still based on the same art style as the first
Mhm.
one, but they just made everything look so much better.
Yeah, they gave it some depth.
Yeah, I'm just constantly as I'm playing the game, just floored how good it looks.
Yeah.
Um, and I really like I think I like the combat more in this game because it's more about managing um, different status effects, like either applying them or removing them. There's a lot more emphasis on that, and that creates, to me at least, I think creates interesting gameplay. And the big mechanic that people are really split on is the relationship aspect. Whereas where your party members will form positive or negative relationships, and that has a huge impact on your uh, like when you fight,
Hmm.
because if it's a negative relationship, when one party okay, let me back up. When every time you're at an inn, uh, when you leave the inn, your party members have a chance to form either a positive and negative relationship, and you can affect that through gameplay mechanics
Okay.
and items you buy at the end. Um, if they form a negative relationship, it'll randomly pick a skill for each of those heroes, and when you use that skill, it'll have a negative effect on the opposite hero.
Oh,
So the relationship is at the core of, like, that is the core of a successful run, is managing those relationships.
interesting.
And if you have a positive relationship, it will do the same thing. It'll pick a skill, but it'll have a positive effect on each of those heroes. Like, one of them will be, whenever you use this skill, the other hero will get -1 stress, or it'll remove blight and bleed.
Are
Very powerful effects.
are you in your runs? Are you having situations where you just have positive relationships, or is it always going to be a give and take, where you're going to have some negative and some positive?
You, I have, I've gotten to the point where I understand the system well enough that you can pretty much control um, and get mostly positive relationships.
Okay.
Where things spin out of control is when somebody has a meltdown, a stress meltdown. When somebody dies,
Hmm.
it's really that the stress levels that start to high stress levels uh, influence negative relationships.
Gotcha.
So you have to like stress manage a lot to keep their stress low because that gives them a chance at positive relationships. Um, and when you start to get a bunch of negative relationships, it can really spiral into a dead run. So
How long is a run?
this is my biggest complaint with the game. Runs are long as fuck,
Oh,
like an hour and a half
okay. That's not
to
terrible.
2 hours maybe. I mean, it's they're really long. Um, every region you end up at the end, and that is kind of a checkpoint. I think you can just stop at any point in the run, so it's not too bad. But I really hate stopping in the middle of runs.
Mhm.
Um, but I do wish the runs were shorter.
Do what was I trying to say? Do you feel like even if you fail mid run, you've still made progress? Like you're still getting
Yeah,
enough of the like the whatever the upgrade stuff is?
yeah. If you fail early run in the first couple of regions, it'll feel shitty.
Okay.
If you fail towards the end of a run, or even not making it all the way to the end, you still get a decent amount of the candles, which is the roguelike upgrade currency.
Got it.
And there are decisions you can make all throughout the run where you can say, I just want this run to be about getting more of those candles to get more upgrade currency.
I'll probably I have it on Epic, which is why I haven't rechecked it out, but I'll probably find Epic again and then
Yeah.
reinstall it and check it out because I did love the first one. The biggest problem with the first one is obviously like you can get 40 hours into a campaign or 30 hours into a campaign and then be fucked because all your good guys have died.
Yeah. And
And
that
then you
that at
literally have to
least
restart the whole thing.
that at least is not the case
Yeah.
because you can only carry over previous heroes if they survive all the way to the end. And I've only had that happen once
Damn.
in I don't know, 30 hours or something. Um, what was I gonna say? The other, it's it can be kind of a negative, but it's also really satisfying when you're finally finished it.
Mhm.
The heroes start with a set amount of skills, and they you have to find these hero shrines, which are events along the road, and you have to complete those to unlock more skills for each hero.
I think that's cool
It's cool, but some heroes feel pretty classes feel pretty bad
until you get
until you get
those.
some of those upgrades, and
Yeah.
some of those upgrade events are these like story mechanics they've turned into a fight, and how you beat them can be kind of confusing.
Oh,
So you end up failing a decent amount of times, and that can be very frustrating.
gotcha.
Um, but when you get through it, it's awesome because some of those skills are incredible. Like, then really change how a class can be played, and also when you upgrade classes because you can upgrade different. They call them paths, which change how a class plays. So the one of the paths for the blight doctor, the surgeon. I can't remember what he's called. The guy with the
Plague
mask,
Doctor.
plague doctor. Um, it will buff his melee skills by 50%, but he will. It's like less healing. Oh no, I'm sorry. He'll get like a 50% bonus to healing and melee skills, but all of his blight causing skills will, I think it's either turned off or all of his ability to apply blight doesn't work anymore.
Hmm.
So it completely changes how that class plays because then he's like a melee healer instead of a guy that stands in the back and like throws bombs and heals people.
Yeah,
So it's really cool.
that is cool. Yeah, that's good to hear that it's not bad because I was pretty disappointed when I got the early access. I was like, this is not fun at all.
Yeah, I think you are not alone. I think most of the community felt like that too.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that they fixed it because goddamn. Okay, well, I'll definitely check that game out.
Cool.
All right, well, we should call it there, and then we're gonna cut the Diablo and game talk or the Diablo part into a separate video, and we'll just link it in the description.
Okay. Thanks. Goodbye.